In a world where knowledge is power, listen to industry-leading experts discuss the future of digital currency. Welcome to the Crypto Untangled podcast. Learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency and blockchain and take your wealth to the next level. Now, here is your host, Dr. Bou Dib.
Mike, welcome to this episode of Crypto Untangled. It's quite a pleasure to have you in here. The community is quite interested to know more about the Dust project and its magical, basically mining bot. How were you involved with the iOS project, and how did you get involved in the Dust project, and how was the project idea conceived?
So, well, I guess first of all, I started in crypto in 2017. So that was sort of at the top, like 20K, like probably, investing wise, maybe the worst possible time to get involved, right? And so I started kind of buying crypto there. And then I learned really fast that in bear markets, when you buy tops, then you lose money, right? So I kind of started to learn how to trade, and then that kind of took its toll on me because trading's really hard. But I'm still I still trade a lot, and the bear market taught me tons, right? But I think because of the way things were, it was easier for me to start getting involved in projects and stuff. So I got involved in EOS pretty early. This was, well, not super early, but pre-Genesis anyways.
Okay.
Which is, anyways. And then, so I was able to kind of, like June 2018, I think it was Genesis. And so that kind of taught me a lot about USIO and sort of the basics. And we were kind of the founding fathers of users of EOSIO, right, on the EOS chain. And since it's expanded quite a bit, there's, I don't know, 10 or 12 forks now, or probably even more, but I think popular ones at least anyways, right? Which of course Wax is one of.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gave me a base, a foundation in USIO and an understanding of what it could do and how powerful it was, especially for dApps, right? dApps is a huge thing with the USIO because of the transfer fees and the resource issues and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's super fast, which is something that you need for exactly to be able to actually use the network, right? And trade NFTs and that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, it's been interesting to get involved with all these different projects. I kind of started with tribe.com, and that was sort of a big learning experience for me, sort of my first project that I really got involved with heavily. And I was the editor for them, initially, and then sort of as the team grew, I became the lead editor / manager for the editing team essentially. And then at one point, I was working a lot and I just didn't have time for crypto. Kind of went back to the day gig and sort of had to grind up some windows and do the make your money thing, right? Because there wasn't a ton of pay in Tribe or anything. It was good enough, but bear markets kind of,
it was pretty tough. A lot of projects, it damaged a lot.
So so I ended up leaving Tribe, and in the meantime, I kind of got involved with Wax fairly early, before they went to mainnet. And my thing was I was wow, this is an EOSIO chain. They're making money already. They actually have income through OP skins at the time.
Okay.
right? And the price is so ridiculously low, like especially compared to EOS, which was still, I think, even like $5 or $6 or $7 at the time. I mean, it's gone up quite a bit now, but wax was like 3 cents or something. So it just made sense to me, you know. It was just kind of like, wow, like of course I want to get involved with this chain. And then the whole NFT thing and everything, and Opie Skins was like sort of one of the founding fathers of digital items, like as far as like trading and selling and stuff goes. And so that's kind of evolved into this market, this NFT market that we have now, which is like
crazy.
incredible. Like the past year has been, since Garbage Pail Kids launched, has been absolutely insane, right? So I've kind of been in wax, like involved with wax essentially since the beginning of this chain as well. And I was a not super early investor, but pretty good timing actually on wax, thank God, for once. And
I think I spent most of my wax here and there on some NFTs, and I threw on so many NFTs that went up to be blacklisted collections. So I lost quite a lot,
no.
but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah,
learn.
I definitely spent a lot of wax on NFTs as well, for sure. Like I could have a lot more wax, but I kind of like my NFTs. And so luckily I have what's called GVM coins, which are like the original. So the deal is like that when we moved over our tokens from Ethereum, that there was like a staking program where if you stake them for 3 years, then they essentially would double your coins over those 3 years. So it's been really hard for me to ever touch that, right? Like I just leave it alone. It's just kind of an investment, and like it's good because then I have resources on the network and stuff too, right? Which is awesome. So
if you are stacking,
and it gives
passive.
It's like my last, like if I trade everything else away, I still have my wax, you know. But yeah, so yeah, like I love wax, and it's been an amazing sort of come up. Like I got involved with GPK pretty quick. I did buy a couple packs like initially, but I didn't really expect like what it was going to become like. So I started buying a lot on secondary after the fact. And that was kind of one of the things that like drove that market. Like me and a bunch of other guys that like realized like we were a little bit late to the party, and we started just buying everything up on secondary, right? And then so from that, like I kind of had some experience in NFTs, and like I created my own NFTs on Opie Skins, like from back in the day, like when they first allowed us to start doing it, right? Just to play with, because I'm also a photographer and I really like shooting photos. So I have a lot of really dope photos that I wanted to display on blockchain. So that was kind of one of my first initial forays into like making NFTs. And then I met Kurt. Like I'd seen him around because Kurt is like a god in the EOSIO ecosystem, essentially. Like everybody knows who he is. He's done so many projects. He's pushed like EOSIOs forward like leaps and bounds on many occasions, and continues to do so on a daily basis. And he was a really good friend of mine, Matt. I don't know if you remember a guy named Costa Crypto, but anyways, Matt,
I can't recall. Maybe by seeing the face or something, most likely.
Yeah.
But to come straight like this, it will be a bit. It's a bit.
But so Matt introduced me to Kurt, and we hit it off. And then he was kind of like, "Hey, I have this idea," and so it was kind of like one of the first days of Nifty Wizards too, and they just started the room, and so I got involved, and it was kind of like the first couple of days of Nifty Wizards was like literally just us in like 2 rooms, and we're talking about like what we could do with all this crazy text-based NFT stuff and like how far we could take it. And for me, it was just kind of like, like let's see where this goes, kind of thing, you know, and
experimental.
Like yeah, and I think I didn't, you know, it seemed like something that you're just like, wow, like this seems like it's going to be huge, but at the same time, like, can we pull it off, you know? And so I think the moment for me, like when Nifty Wizards really like was just like a wow moment, was when Kurt forged me an item in Telegram. So like, he literally sent me a key or something.
Okay.
I think it was a knife or something. And he sent me a knife via Telegram, like with a text command. And that just blew my mind because it was like, okay, like you just hooked up Telegram to the Wax blockchain, and now we can facilitate all these cool things through Telegram. So this is like actually like, okay, like I'm starting to get where you're going with this now, right? And I mean, if you could hook it to Telegram, then you can hook it to any other chat app. You can hook it to whatever, you know what I mean? Like as long as you're able to use that API, like as long as you figure out the solution for it or whatever, then it's pretty much just like you can take those NFTs
and
to
then
any
it came
platform.
out the idea of Dust.
Yeah,
Since
so
you were
Dust
able to
essentially,
connect.
yeah, so Dust essentially was like Kurt wanted an in-game currency for Nifty Wizards originally,
Okay.
right? And he had already like implemented what we call chat mining in Morty's. I don't know if you're familiar with Morty's.
Not
But
much.
Morty's was kind of the original chat mining. So like if you went into the Morty's group and you synced your wallet, but it wasn't through Telegram, it was like an app or something, I think.
Okay.
And so you would go in and you would sign your TX, and then it would, you know, and you would be able to chat in Telegram and earn Morty's essentially, right? So Dust was just like kind of an extension of that he took to the next level, essentially, right? So he was saying like, okay, well, let's distribute coins to anybody who chats in these rooms that are Dust enabled, right? And then they can use them to buy NFTs for our game. And then that way, like there's a way for people to, like, besides all the quests that we do and everything, there's a way for people to earn crypto essentially with little to no startup, because all you need is a WCW, which is like an email and a freaking password, right?
Yeah.
And you're mining Dust, and so you're earning crypto, which is then actually worth money, right? And you can participate in the ecosystem without necessarily having to lay out a bunch of funds that you're like not ready to do yet, or you don't have them in the first place, right? So it's really the play to earn philosophy that we kind of have. And so we're essentially just trying to incentivize like every message in the entire world.
Okay, so can you tell us in a bit like simplified way, how does the bot or the magic bot work?
Well, essentially it just listens, right? So it's just listening for like a certain action in a certain room that it's allowed to be in. And if that action is triggered, then it sends.
It's basically 0-1. Message goes, record one, tuck, send a Dust token.
Yeah, it's
as simple
really
as that.
and that's kind of the thesis behind most of our bots, is they just listen to actions on chain, right? And that's how we can be chain agnostic, because we can just plug that into any chain. True. Right? It doesn't need to be Wax. It doesn't need to be like, and so then we can do stuff on all sorts of different platforms too, right? Which are kind of like, and that's kind of our thing. Like, we don't necessarily want to be stuck in one place. We want to be able to incentivize different systems, but at the same time,
would they be fungible, let's say, the same? So the Dust that would be mined on Wax would be the same that would be mined on smart chain, so Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum chain or whatever, Tron maybe? I don't know.
I think that the way that we're kind of thinking about going with this is that we want to use the escrow contract. Okay. And so we want to allow people to transfer value to kind of wherever they want to transfer it to. And like ideally we would be mining on some other chains too, but it's got to make sense financially. Like, we're not going to pay a bunch of gas fees and stuff to send people some Dust tokens. Like, if that's the case, then we'll mine it somewhere like Wax or somewhere where it makes sense. with resources and like all that kind of stuff, so that we're not costing ourselves a bunch of money and like reducing our potential in the long run as well, right? So,
Okay.
but we definitely want to be able to transfer value and like and I'm pretty damn sure that we don't want to like mess with the circulation or anything, or add coins on another chain or anything like that. Like we want to, and that's all very possible. Like right now, like for example, like you can move any fungible token from Wax to both BSC and Ethereum, right? Because Alien Worlds has the other .worlds
Kind of
contract, which
swap or whatever bridge. Yeah.
it's so essentially what it is it's an escrow contract, right? So you put those assets in escrow on chain, and then they go live on another chain, and then when they want to get returned, then they come back, and then those original fungible tokens come out of escrow. Essentially is how it works.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I got few questions, as my community was super excited about you being our guest. So I piled them in a paper. So I'll be reading from a paper as they came pretty much 10 minutes before you came. So I picked few of them and put them in my paper to read them for you. And I would like you to answer them if possible. So
Awesome.
one of my guys, or one of the community guys, said dust mining is a revolutionary idea on a fast-growing platform for a crypto and NFT enthusiast that is supposed to accelerate cryptocurrency adoption, especially when targeting large Telegram groups, which will eventually generate stronger community and ultimately a stronger project. So one question that comes to mind is anybody able to be, or so anyone is able to be a dust operator? If so or not, what are the criteria?
So essentially, like anyone can run their own dust mine. The only criteria that we have are that you have to meet the current staking requirements. So, and that moves around depending on the price and availability of dust. Right now, it's currently sitting at 200K as a stake. And so essentially what that means is that you buy 200K worth of dust and you stake it to us, but you still keep that value, right? And then we allow you to mine on top of that stake, essentially, right? So, but our main thing now, and one of the things that we've been implementing lately, is that we're looking at groups and vetting them, because what we're finding is that there's a lot of groups that apply that don't really chat, or they kind of just have bots, or it's just kind of spammy, like it's a bunch of short messages or something. And so we want to apply some kind of quality filter to the applications. And so it's kind of, at this moment, it's kind of up to me to decide that, and I consult with the rest of the team as well to kind of get a base idea of what they think, and so that's kind of how we make decisions around mine approval. But in the future, we really want to have that, so it's kind of a systematic thing, and because we realize that it's not sustainable for us to police the whole ecosystem, and so we want to have it so that essentially you're not incentivized for short messages and low quality messages, right? Sure. So that is one of the things that are on the roadmap to kind of help us manage dust a little bit better without having some of the
massive influx
that we've had problems and stuff with. And like the true key to that is moderation. So that's another thing. We want the owner to be the one of the group to be the one to apply, because we want them to be interested, and we want them to be aligned with sort of dust and our ideals, and so we don't want somebody that just comes on board and they just want to sell all their coins all the time, right? It's like we kind of want somebody who wants to participate in the community and contribute. And so we don't want, so
I think we are trying our best, and I have an army of admins all over my Telegram group.
Yeah, no, you guys
So,
are great. Like, and your quality is high, so that's
thank you.
definitely awesome. And I know Ali, one of our devs, enjoys spending time in there. So
I think he's enjoying our company and we are enjoying his too. So that's great. The second question is, so besides buying NFTs and participating in auctions, what are Dust other token, like what are Dust token other utilities? And how do you intend to increase the value as long as the people are mining it for free?
so essentially, like we just did a halving. So we cut all the dust distributions in half, and that was in line with the fact that we looked at supply and we looked at what we were mining, and we decided that it wasn't sustainable. So we cut everything in half. So that helps with the value. You know, there's less coins going up into the market now. So people that already have a bunch of coins are kind of happy about that, right? Because it was easier to get, and now it's not as
At the early
as
time,
easy.
yeah.
For sure. Another thing that we're doing is we want to start incentivizing people to use dust to burn. So we're going to probably have like potions and stuff for Nifty Wizards and other sorts of blends where if you blend something, then it'll cost you like a burn fee with dust. And we also want to use it for our rewards pool. So we're going to have a function where people can get rewarded with NFTs, and we're going to mix it in there somehow. I'm not sure if we're going to have a payment or what that's going to entail. But there's definitely a few different options that we've been thinking of to try and I think the main one is that another one is we're going to switch to algorithmic mining. Okay. So we're going to reward people that have more stake in the system, and
so the more you stack, the more you
reduce amounts for people that have little to none.
Okay. So stacking will be something rewarding in the future.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely in the game plan for sure.
So one additional question. What are the team next steps to spread Dust adoption and reach the largest possible number of people? And assuming that Dust community went parabolic, do you or are you able to cover the necessary resources to maintain the project?
So the next steps are pretty much, I think Discord is our big goal. And that's actually in our Wax Labs proposal as well. So once we hit Discord, then we can kind of start hitting other social media platforms. And that's really going to open up our potential for engagement, right? Because there'll be a lot of new users that can be opened up to those platforms. As far as maintaining it, the Dust Enhancers program has been doing amazing. People still seem to really like them. And so we take those funds and we put everything back into Dust. So it all goes to paying all of our bills, to maintain resources and for staff and all those kind of things. None of it's going in mine or Kurt's pocket. So those are the kind of things that we've been doing to try and make sure that the project is sustainable.
Awesome. So you spoke about Ali, so we got an information from Ali about Discord and about Twitter as well. And we know like about integrating the Magic Bot in Twitter. So any time frame on when that would happen? And how would it be like when you tweet or when you send a post? So you tweet or it's comment on a post. And the other part is, would a media earn you more, or they are alike?
So I think a lot of those are questions, like especially the Twitter questions that we just haven't addressed yet. But I would think that we want to incentivize any post, ideally, as long as it's a quality post.
Okay.
So that would kind of give you an idea of what our line of thinking would be on that. As far as timeline, we are incentivized to get it done because it is one of our Wax Lab proposal key items, as I stated before. So we actually get paid for that. So we are definitely incentivized to get that done, and it's one of the things. It's actually one of our top priority lists at the moment. So
Q2,
hopefully,
Q3, most likely.
I mean, I think Kurty'd like to see it next week, but we'll see how that goes, right? So, but we're definitely incentivized to get it done as soon as possible.
Then how would you integrate it? Would it be in accounts basically, or how will it be done? So who will be the operator at that point?
See, that's a really good question. So the answer is that I don't know. Maybe we just incentivize individual users.
Okay.
Instead of having the operator system, because we don't have groups, right?
Yeah, there's no groups on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, maybe Facebook or something, like there's groups there, right? So we could have operators there.
It would be great. I would add
on
mine
Discord, right? We could have operators there, like. But essentially the goal is to be able to incentivize everyone.
Okay.
Right.
So enabling anybody to earn free token when they send good quality messages or something. It's something, wasn't it something like a close to voice from iOS, but in a different way?
Voice is similar, but you have to well, it's not, so voice, you have to pay to voice your opinion over other people, essentially, but you do also earn tokens for posting as well. And I think the main way that you earn tokens on voice is that when somebody else, it's like king of the castle, right? So when someone else jumps on top of you, essentially, they pay you to do for that privilege or whatever, right?
It's close to Steam. I never went to voice. I got the invitation, but I did not register as I did not have much time and I did not want to read much to get involved. So I was like, I don't really have time to keep posting super high quality messages or posts. So yeah. So one final question from our guys was, can you name few strong partners that are there to support Dust roadmap or its success, and how would they do that?
Well, we're partners with all of our minds who are participating in the NFT Enhancer system. Okay. And some of the big ones there are the Horrors and all the other ZB Cats, and there's a couple of other sort of bigger name groups that have done them as well. We're hoping that Alien Worlds is going to be one at some point. And as far as other partners, like strategic partners go, there are kind of some things in the background, but there's nothing that I can talk about yet.
No problem.
And we also have a proposal out for Wax, and we talked to them, and they seem amenable to it. They just want us to finish our collectible proposal first, essentially. So those are kind of the things that we're trying to do so that we can make that partnership with Dust grow too.
Awesome. Sure. So as we are nearing the end of our talk, I would like just to know a little bit about the Nifty Wizard game that is running recently. Can you just tell us a little bit about it? How does it operate? And how can people earn, I think it was Dust or Weed, or I did not have much time to follow. So how does it work?
Well, I mean, with Nifty Wizards, you can earn Dust, you can earn NFTs, you can earn all sorts of different NFTs between screen, key, scroll, weed, like gold, silver, all
I
sorts of
saw
cool
that
stuff.
there were like the ultimate goal would be receiving an enhancer or something like this, if I am not wrong, or I
I
heard
think
something like this.
we've been doing enhancer giveaways for each new enhancer to kind of try and boost our engagement on Twitter. And so that's been going really well, and people seem to really like those for sure. But Nifty Wizards essentially is like a role-playing game, right? So it's a text-based role-playing game in Telegram. So we ask you to do various tasks, a lot of which include social media sharing, so that you can essentially earn free items that allow you to progress in the game. And each item that you earn, typically, not always, but typically has a room associated with it that item essentially allows you to be in or use the bots in that room or whatever the case may be, right? So for example, like when you start, we'll ask you to share one of our beginner introductory posts, and that will allow you to earn a key, which will then allow you to go to key holders, which is essentially the next step is your next room where you can perform another task, where you can earn a scroll, which will allow you to then go to quest. And then we have a whole plethora of quests that you can complete.
So the more you complete, the more you earn, and the higher you rank.
The more items you earn, the more things that open up, the more things are accessible to you. And so you can kind of keep going further along in the game. And at some point, a lot of people do invest in items because we have a lot of higher end items that we don't have quests to earn yet.
Okay.
But there are a lot of cool privileges that go along with them. Like, so say dice, for example, you get to go in the dice room and you can roll dice, and that'll earn you dust every time you roll, right? So you can get between 1 and 9 dust essentially for each roll. And then there's loot box, which you buy a loot box and then you're able to go into the loot box room and you're able to open the loot box. We have it on like a 5-minute timer just so that people don't spam it.
Okay.
And that will allow you to earn weed or beer or a raven, or there's a couple of other items in there. And I think we're going to switch.
I heard that the ultimate goal would be becoming a wizard or joining the wizard themselves. Is that true?
Well, so yeah, so the thing is that like people who stick around, we want them to be more involved in the ecosystem, right? And we're always trying to grow our team. So, people who participate and help others and stuff, then we'll give them forge powers. And so they can actually forge items for people and help people. And then ultimately, like most of our staff members have come into the staff room because they've been helping out. That's essentially it. And they've been a huge force. The staff has been amazing. Like the Nifty Wizards wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for those guys. For sure. And so it's community, guiding community, right? Which is amazing. And we try and give those guys as many perks as we can as well, along the way. And so everyone's tries, there's always stuff, right? But the goal is to sort of incentivize everyone to play, right? And yeah, we love it. Like we're just building out battles now some more. So we just got a cloak. So now you can hide yourself in battle. And so there's all sorts of cool new functionalities coming.
That's
for
cool.
battle.
Each time it's adding stuff, so it's keeping more and more demand. Or that's cool. I'm trying also
we just have continuous like every NFT essentially will have function for Nifty Wizards is the goal.
That's very nice. I'm trying to use Dust mainly for the sale of my NFTs. Trying to also reward my community with Dust, mainly Dust, basically for the people that are engaging or the people that are helping the other people to join. In my case, I just want to spread as much as possible knowledge and allow people to earn dust. But the people that are allowed to stay in my group are those that share the same love to share or to support or to help or spread the knowledge. And those are the ones that are staying, and those are the ones that are rewarded. The ones that write articles are also rewarded. We have artists that are joining. So it's pretty much starting, and it's getting a bit busy, but it's lovely. I really like it, and I really appreciate the opportunity to join the family, because it's helping to spread knowledge all over Lebanon, basically, and hopefully we'll reach the whole MENA region sooner or later.
We appreciate you guys like joining us, and it's always nice to have people from all over the world, and like especially people who like care about crypto and they want to see it succeed, right? So that's amazing.
Thank you so much. So before closing, do you have anything that you would like to add that we forgot to cover or something?
Maybe I'll just do like a little plug for our pack sale that's coming up for Nifty Wizards. Sure. We're going to do another weed pack sale. And there's going to be lots of cool features around that. We're going to have 4 different packs. And so, but there's only going to be one that's for sale. And the other ones you're going to have to get by burning weed. So all of the different kinds of weed that we currently have are going to be used to blend for these new packs.
As I know, there are 3 kinds of weeds or 3 colors. That's all what I managed to.
So there's actually, there's 4. There's the original OG weed, which is green. There's sour berries, which is like sort of our
I remember one was like pinkish. Purplish, pinkish, one was bluish, dark bluish, and one was lime. That's what
the lime one is the lime one with like a fluorescent outline. That's sour berries. And then there's like a purple blaze, we call it, which is kind of a purpley blue. And then pink lemonade, which is like the really rare, like high-end one, which is the pink one, obviously.
So basically by burning those weeds, you'll be able to get the other packs. So you burn weed with a pack to get a higher end pack, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it won't be the weed in the pack that you're buying. It'll be weed from the previous pack sale.
Okay.
Right?
So I'm lucky, I already have few.
Nice. So then you can burn. So essentially it incentivizes people who participated in our previous pack sale, and it incentivizes people to go out on the secondary market and gather these older templates so that they can burn them and get these new packs, right? And as the rarity of the weed that you're burning goes up, so does the rarity of the packs that you will receive.
And what would you get inside those packs? The rare ones? Again, weeds or seeds?
It'll be the same weeds as are in all the other packs, but you'll have better chances of pulling the middle and the high grade weeds in the rarest packs. And plus also those packs are going to be like extremely rare. So that in and of itself is always a good reason to own them. Right?
I will be looking for one, aiming for one. So Mike, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and for being my guest today.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's an honor, man.
Fun to do these.
Getting to know you, and maybe we'll be in touch, but maybe we'll have future calls or to cover up other events.
Yeah, happy to come back on. Just let me know.
Thank you so much.
Cover when you want to do it, and for sure.
I wish you a
very nice talking to you. All right, you too, Peter.
Ciao, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crypto Untangled. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information, visit us at kryptonnewslebanon.com. We'll see you soon.